change, and how difficult it is to change. Creating boundaries and people getting mad at you because you hadn't created boundaries before. Or maybe you're not a chronic people pleaser, so you get mad at yourself because you're like, oh my God, am I being too mean? Maybe you were in a specific relationship before and now you realize that you tolerated less in the past. So now you're like, okay, I need to ask for more. But you're afraid to ask for more. You're afraid because you think, oh, do I even deserve this? Or am I asking for too much? By the way, you're not asking for too much, you're asking the wrong person. Or maybe you want to dress a certain way and people are allowing you to dress a certain way. Or maybe yourself isn't allowing you to dress a certain way. Or maybe you feel like if you present yourself differently that people are gonna think you're, brand new, acting brand new, or you're changing for the wrong reasons, or why is she doing that over there? Like, that's weird. Like, what are you doing? Or maybe it's yourself. Maybe you're holding yourself back because we are our biggest critics. Maybe it has nothing to do with people. Maybe it is just yourself. Okay, let's get this clear. It is not what you tolerate in the past, it's what you do now. If you tolerated something in the past, you don't have to keep holding that narrative to yourself. You don't have to keep holding that old version of yourself to yourself. Yes, you have to love that old version of you, but you don't have to keep holding that old version of you. Okay, if you have not seen my face before, my name is Aliesha, or you can call me Lai, and we are back for another video. I've been wanting to do this topic for a long time. Actually, I've done certain different versions of this topic because it's definitely something I struggled with when I started my self-love journey, my glow up journey. It's definitely something I struggle with. So I've actually done different versions of this topic, and I'm gonna link them up above or down below because I do feel like those videos are also other great extensive versions of this topic right here. This video is more so about becoming a new you, changing and being afraid of change, and being afraid of how people view you, being afraid of how you view yourself. There are so many things that can hold us back from becoming a new version of us, and it is so important that we don't allow anything to hold us back. And we're going to be talking about how to get past your old narrative of yourself, and also how to get past other people's narrative of you or their view of you, and just how to just change and become the best version of you without holding yourself to what you used to tolerate in your past. Because there are certain things I'm sure that you can look back at in your early 20s or maybe in your teen years that you're like, I shouldn't have tolerated that. And now you probably feel like you can't ask for more, or you can't dress a different way, or you can't look a different way. And I'm here to tell you that today, right now, you can do something different right now. Like, if I told myself that I wanted to cut my hair right now, I could chop this shit off. I could chop this hair off, like I could just and be like, I don't care what you think, because that's what I wanted to do. And you should be able to do that in your life, okay? Sometimes we just care so much about what other people think, and it's just not okay. And like I said, this is something that I struggled with in my self-love journey, because I was like, oh my God, what if I change myself and people start saying stuff? And what if this and what if that? And there were even times where I did change myself, and then people tried to like keep bringing up embarrassing things about me or embarrassing old stories. And yeah, it's okay if we go down memory lane and we kiki and have fun. And there are some people like that just like, want to talk about the past and like want to have fun and like talk about the memories. That's fine. But the people that I have a problem with are the people that intentionally bring up embarrassing stuff about you because they want to embarrass you. Like, because they see a new and different version of you. And I definitely have experienced that before. Let's talk about how to get past your old narrative of yourself, because I think people don't understand that sometimes you are the one holding yourself back, okay? And we're gonna also talk about people. When you have decided that you want to glow up, when you have decided that you want to go on a self-love journey, a healing journey, it is going to require you to shed layers of yourself, okay? And I've talked about this before, shedding layers of yourself when you're healing, becoming somebody new, right? And in order to shed these layers of yourself, you do have to look in the past. But sometimes us looking in the past does hold us back because it holds us to an old version of ourselves that maybe we didn't like, or we didn't treat ourselves the best, or maybe that old version of ourselves was in a survival mode. Sometimes we can be looking in the past so much that we're just like holding ourselves to this old narrative. But I want to challenge you to start looking into your future. And this is tricky because I do believe in being present. And when you're healing, it is difficult to look in your future. And that's the tricky part when it comes to envisioning a new version of yourself. But I want you to start envisioning a new version of yourself and looking at that new version of yourself in your mind, okay? Because I think this is one of the things that kept propelling me forward. I was on a healing journey. I was on a self-love journey to discover myself. I was changing up my looks and everything. But the one thing that kept me going was literally envisioning the woman that I wanted to be. And when I say envision, I'm like picturing her in my mind. I'm picturing the boundaries she has, and I'm picturing maybe the relationship she has, and I'm picturing the way she dresses, and I'm picturing the way she, she's healed, and she's around really good friends, and she loves herself. That's the person that I always envisioned in my mind. And I had to keep envisioning that because there were times where things would come up and I'm like, oh my God, I can't be this new version of myself because I tolerated this in the past, or I did this in the past, and people are gonna be thinking I'm fake, or I'm this, I'm that. And it's like, no. You look at the new version of yourself. Every time something in your mind starts telling you can't change, or you can't be different, or somebody tells you can't do that, or yourself tells you that, start envisioning that woman that you want to be. A great thing that I've been doing lately, that I just started doing, is meditating. And I've always meditated, but I never meditated envisioning my future self. So when I meditate now, I'll do a lot of quiet meditation where I'm just envisioning my future self. I'm envisioning the apartment. I'm envisioning the life that I have, the luxury life that I have. And I may not have it now, but baby, we could create it right now. Okay, see, I got a little water in the wine glass. I feel like my outfit's luxurious today, to me, okay? To me. And that's another thing we're gonna talk about in a minute, to you, okay? You gotta validate yourself. But no, it's about envisioning her and keeping that at the forefront of your mind. Because when things get hard, when you're trying to heal, when you're trying to change, there are going to be people that want to keep you the same. Yourself might even want to keep yourself the same because of the fact that you are clinging on to this old version of you. But like I said, we're shedding layers. We're shedding that old version of us. Yes, we need to love that old version, but remember to allow yourself to shed it. And that a lot of that is going to require some healing. I have a video on healing. Look it up above. When it comes to looking at the past is okay for if y'all want to kiki, have memories and everything, or to learn from the past. But you never want to look to the past to cling on to it or hold yourself to this old narrative of yourself. And that's something that I did. And I don't regret it because it taught me how to come on here and speak about it now. But I do wish that I didn't cling on so much to this old version of me. Yeah, because that definitely did hold me back. And I think I would have been a little bit more further if I didn't cling on so hard to this old narrative. But it's about healing. It's about forgiving yourself and loving yourself and healing. And that's it, right? The next thing I want you to implement in your mind is that you are allowed to ask for more, and you are allowed to present yourself differently than how you presented yourself in the past, okay? This is a big one because a lot of times when maybe you tolerated an old relationship in your past and people saw that. Now you feel like, oh my God, I can't just say that I tolerate this now because people are gonna think I'm fake. Or maybe you said something in your, say me, I might have said something in my old videos where there's something I might not agree with anymore. And now I'm so afraid to share my new thoughts about what I feel about this topic. But it's no, okay, people change, people evolve. You're allowed to change how you think about something. You're allowed to change what you value. You're allowed to change the way that you think about yourself or a relationship that you want to be in. You're allowed to change your mind. Don't allow old experiences to dictate your future. Too many of us do that. We allow old experience to dictate our future when we should be allowing the present to dictate our future. And what I mean by that is, what do you do presently to get you to the version of you that you want to be? Okay, allow your present moment to tell you what your future is going to be, as in the habits that you're doing. Okay, even if you aren't doing those habits, write them out. Write out new habits that you want to implement so that you can create that in the present moment, and that will dictate your future. Okay, let's talk about, you are allowed to change what you look like physically, and you're allowed to present yourself differently. So what I mean by this is, maybe you want physically to change up your how you dress. Okay, you're allowed to do that. Okay, maybe you didn't present yourself in the best way. Maybe you didn't dress really nice before, and now you're like, oh my god. It's okay. That was the version of you that was at that point, but now you are at a different point in your life where maybe you want to dress a little bit differently. That is okay. You don't have to hold yourself to an old narrative. Okay, just know that you should love that old version of you that maybe didn't dress the way that you felt like you wanted to, or whatever. Love her, because that's where you were at that time. And now when you're, maybe you've grown a little bit and now you want to maybe dress in a different way or a different style. Okay, love that old version of you, but move on and start creating that version of you that you want. Maybe you want to wear your hair differently. Like I said, maybe you want to cut off your hair and, like, I don't know, maybe you like short hair. Like, it's okay. It's okay. The thing that helped me with changing up my appearance was, because this is something I was so afraid of. I was so afraid of changing up my style because I don't know, I had to do some deep inner work and like understand why I was so afraid. Once I did that deep inner work and I asked myself like, hey, why am I so afraid to change like of my looks, my hair, whatever, found that out. Once you do that, make sure you're doing your deep inner work. But once you do that, you start with one thing. And what I mean by this is, maybe you want to wear makeup. So maybe start with like wearing some lashes or something, and seeing how your day goes from there. At that point, you find out that it's not as scary as you think it is. You do this in front of other people. You wear your lashes in front of other people. You also wear your lashes in front of yourself and say really kind words to yourself. At that point, you start to get used to it, and you're presenting yourself differently. This doesn't only have to be with physical looks. Maybe you want to change up your boundaries. Maybe you didn't have boundaries in the past, and now you want to be somebody who has boundaries and standards. Okay, start small. If somebody is, somebody's constantly stepping over your boundaries, or maybe like you need to practice saying no to your friends because you can't go out because you want to do something differently. Practice saying no. Be like, hey, I can't go out. I got a self-care night with myself, or something, something to like practice saying no. Start small. Send it over text. You don't have to call them. Send it over text. Don't say it in person. Start small. Start doing small little strides. And once you create those like boundaries or whatever you're trying to change, it's going to create something bigger for you, because then it's going to get easier every time. You're going to keep doing it. Say you're wearing lashes, now you're doing a full face of makeup, and now you're not afraid to wear makeup. Or maybe you do the small step of creating those boundaries, and once you keep doing it with different people, it starts to become easier. A lot of these things are scary at first, but you just have to bite the bullet and do it. Okay, once you envision that woman that you want to be, you have to bite the bullet and present yourself as that woman. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to look in the past and be like, well, I did this before. No, it's okay. And which I understand, because I've done it before too, where I was like, oh my god, but I did this before, I can't do this now. Girl, you can. Okay, envision her and present yourself differently right now. Another big thing that helped me to change, instead of only requiring that knowledge, like I would read so many books about maybe establishing boundaries, or how to love myself, or how to be myself, or whatever I was reading or watching videos about. I would read these things and I would be so afraid to apply them to my life. And the thing is like, you cannot be so afraid to make a mistake or so afraid to apply the knowledge that you're learning in your life, because guess what? If you do not apply the knowledge that you keep learning, you're not going to change, you know, and it's going to be a lot harder for you to present yourself as the woman you want to be. I understand change is scary, but you have to do it, okay? And a lot of this is just going to require you to, like I said, put yourself out there and keep doing the necessary steps. You don't just learn a bunch of knowledge and like don't do anything with it, you know? You learn about these things. Maybe you're learning about how to create boundaries. Like I said, you let people know when they do step over your boundaries. Hey, we want to change our physical reality too, and not be afraid to do it. So make sure you are learning these things actively on podcasts, on YouTube videos, on books, but also you actively apply them to your life. Don't expect to like grasp all this knowledge and then go out and do it and be perfect the first time, okay? The first time you establish anything that you want to change is not going to be perfect the first time. So don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't stop yourself from changing just because you're afraid to make a mistake. Let's talk about getting past people's narrative of you. This is a big one. This is a big one that used to stop me. Yeah, this is a huge one that used to stop me. So when I first started my self-love journey, I thought that if I changed, I dressed differently, or maybe I looked differently, that people were gonna say something. And there were people that did actually like say stuff and didn't like that I was changing, or didn't like that I had boundaries, and didn't really like, got mad at me for establishing boundaries, or maybe you know, other things that I've changed too, maybe my outfits. So, you know, people say stuff like, oh, why are you wearing that? I'm laughing now because like it's just funny, but I don't know. There were people like that, but there were also people from my past that allowed me and embraced the new me, and it didn't even faze them. It's something that was so hard for me at first. But one thing that I realized is you cannot care what people think about you. You cannot care what people think about you, because everyone is going to have a different version of you in their mind. Everyone's going to have a different view of you. Everyone has experienced a different version of you, and everybody's going to have their own opinion, okay? You know, I wear my hair like this. Somebody's going to tell me, girl, that's ugly. Okay? But maybe I wear my hair like this, and then somebody else is going to tell me, girl, that's cute. What do you think about yourself? What do you feel about yourself? Do you validate yourself? Do you understand who you are? Do you like yourself? Do you like what you're wearing right now? Do you like how your hair looks right now? You have to learn to validate yourself and stop caring about what other people think, because everybody's gonna think something differently. Like I said, when I started to create boundaries, people got mad at me, whatever. I let people like that go, because I just couldn't have people like that in my life, or I had to create even more boundaries with them and be like, okay, you can't really have access to me, which we'll get in a minute. But it's like, you have to like what you're doing in your life, okay? It's the same thing of how you're presenting yourself with your hair, your makeup, whatever. If somebody says that they don't like it, let's stop caring what they think, okay? And I've done that in my early 20s and my teens. When somebody told me, hey, I don't like this about you, I'm like, dang. So I would mend, oh, the water got everywhere. Oh gosh. But I would like amend myself to them. So like, if somebody said I didn't like your hairstyle or whatever, I'd be like, oh my God, I had to change my hairstyle. So I'll change my hairstyle. And then I grew up, and I'm 26 now, and I look at that and I'm like, that was not, what's a kind word to say? That was not okay. That was not okay. Because I look back and I'm like, but I like this. I like this. You might not like it, but we're two different people. We grew up differently. You know, we had different experiences. We were born like on different dates. We're gonna come out the world on different dates. Like, why are we caring about what people think when they don't really have a say so in our lives, like at all? And that's another thing that I learned too, is like, I'm a grown woman. I'm grown now. I don't have to listen to nobody but myself. So I had to learn to validate myself, is what I'm trying to say. So the way you learn how to validate yourself, and I need to do a whole video dedicated to this, because so many things. But a big thing that I've always that I've been doing is when I put something on, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, do I like this? And this might sound like such a simple step, but it is something that people often don't do to themselves. They put something on, they may not even be self-aware that they may not like something on, or they may like it on. Ask yourself generally, do I like this? Stop looking at social media. Just ask yourself, do I like this? You know, and then also pay attention to kind of like what you naturally do. Like when you do your hair, what do you naturally do to your hair? When you like look at an outfit, what do you naturally gravitate towards? What colors do you naturally gravitate towards? Like for me, I noticed that I love the color white, I love pink, I love green, I love browns. I don't really love black unless it's like a particular shirt like this one. I like it on other people, but maybe I don't like it on me where it's looking too sometimes I think black can make me look too serious, and it's not like my favorite look, if that makes sense. You know, I like looking polished, but maybe not too serious. But that doesn't mean that if I don't like something, you might like it. Like you might love the color black. Rock with it, like rock with it. Learn to validate yourself. Ask yourself each time you put on something, do I like this? Ask yourself each time you're wearing your hair, do I like this? And if somebody says something about you, stop changing yourself for that person, whether that be a relationship or a friendship or whatever. Stop changing yourself, because if you put something on, if you saw that you put something on and you generally looked in the mirror and you was like, I look good and I like this, and then you walked out and somebody told you that it looked a mess, why would you change your opinion? You know, your opinion does not sway because of somebody else, you know, because of somebody else's depiction of you or whatever they feel. Like, whatever. I have nothing to do with other people, and they have nothing to do with me. And frankly, it's none of my business. And then another thing is, when you're learning to validate yourself, learn to feel your emotions, okay? Because a lot of times when we can't validate ourselves, we aren't understanding our emotions. So if you put something on and you just feel your body kind of cringe a little bit, like turn your stomach will turn a little bit, maybe you don't like it. Like maybe you don't like it, or maybe you're nervous to wear it, and that is something else to unpack. Why are you so nervous to wear this outfit? Like, you know, are you again like caring too much about what people think? There's so much power in just being self-aware and understanding yourself and sitting with your emotions and like feeling those emotions. That's how you learn to validate yourself. You feel those emotions, you sit with yourself, you stop trying to run away from your emotions. That's the problem. You don't know yourself because you're running away from yourself, okay? That's the reason. So get to know who you are, like learn yourself. When you put something on and you feel like, ugh, no, that's an indication. Or maybe, like I said, if you're trying to create boundaries in your life and somebody makes you mad and you're like, why am I so mad? Maybe that's a boundary for you. You know, like that's how you validate yourself. You have to learn how to validate yourself, because if you learn how to validate yourself, you would not care what people think, okay? Well, you might care, but you won't stop caring, okay? You won't stop caring, okay? That's one of the first steps into stop caring what people think about the new version of you, okay? The next step is to create boundaries if people keep bringing up the old version of you. And what I mean by this is, like I said, it's okay to bring up old memories, and we're laughing about old memories. Those type of friends are fine, because like you might have old memories that you guys used to do and laugh at. Okay, cool. But the friends, the people that you know are bringing up things just to kind of embarrass you, to kind of hurt your feelings, to kind of like make it look like, well, why are you tolerating this now because you used to do this in the past? Let them go. Let them go, okay? Or maybe somebody doesn't mean to say that, like mean that. I feel like you can tell when somebody's trying to like do that and not trying to do that. Maybe somebody doesn't mean that, but maybe it is a specific experience that you don't really want to talk about. Create boundaries with the person. Just be like, hey, this is not something I really want to talk about anymore, because I'm not this version of myself anymore. So create those boundaries. And if the people that you're creating boundaries with don't allow you to change, let them go. The last thing I want to talk about is just being grateful for your past experiences, the past things that you used to tolerate, the past just the past, okay? Because sometimes we could be running from the past and just running from ourselves and being like, why did I do this? Or why did I accept this? And just being so angry at ourselves. But you have to be grateful for the past, because the past is where you learned all of these lessons. And also the past is why you want to change and why you want to reinvent yourself and why you want to be somebody new. But you can't be somebody new without being grateful for that version of you, the old version of you, or just, you know, the old things and the old experience that you used to have. And I think when you have a sense of gratitude for these things, because you know that the past has taught you so many lessons, that propels you forward. That makes you into a new person. That makes you be the version of you that you don't, you know, that you want to be. You know now that that is not something that you want to tolerate anymore, and now you tolerate something different. So you have to be grateful for the past. Again, you don't have to cling on to the past. You don't have to cling on to an old version of you. You don't have to cling on to it. You are no longer that version. So stop it, okay? If you tolerated it in the past, you don't have to tolerate it now, okay? If you used to do something that you're not proud of, guess what? You can be a new version of you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it made sense. I hope I hope it helped. Also, check out those other two videos. I think they're really, really good. And they're also another version of this video, extensive version of this video. And it's really good. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy your day. Let me know what else you want to see down below, and bye.